units, but it's something that the planning commission could look at.
So maybe it's on my mind because I bought my mom a house a couple of years ago. If a person, and I don't want to do this, but I want to test the theory, if a person wanted to call something low-cost housing, and they had a bigger lot, and they wanted to put those properties on that, and they wanted to rent it to their relative, does that qualify?
Only if the relative qualifies in the income
That's-
category.
Yeah. Well,
You
that's
can't
why-
just charge cheap rent
Yeah, well,
to
that's
rich
why,
people.
that's why I brought up my mom. So all I'm saying is I'm looking through all the different scenarios
Right.
whereby someone could legitimately do it, and then we have a situation where there'd be automatic, basically an automatic approval, provided the structure looked like the structure we wanted, correct?
It would, yeah, it
Yeah.
would need to be low income, and the deed restriction is gonna be for the life of the project.
Yeah,
So it's
okay.
not like it's low income for 10 years and then it can turn to market rate. It's
Right.
gonna need to be for the life of the project.
All right, so that tests out my theory of the ordinance. And
Okay,
no, I'm
I've
not
got a
gonna do it.
question. Let's say there's a 2-acre lot, 2 acres anyway. Can somebody come in and say, okay, I want to put make 8 lots out of 1 acre, 16 parcels, and put 16 houses on those 2 acres?
They could request it. You may have some neighborhood compatibility issues, some traffic issues, circulation issues, and those homes would have to be
Who can solve all those?
very low income or low income.
Okay, so,
It's something that-
somewhere in the document here it said, because of high land values, you don't think that'll work. So, if you say, okay, you can put them on there at 3.2 million apiece, you get a lot value of something in the neighborhood of $45,000, $45,000 a lot. But if you have to put a house on it, then you need another $200,000 or so, at $200 a square foot for a small house. So what happens, now you got a house that's $450,000, what can you get for it? Can you get $1,500? Is that considered low?
$1,500 rent?
Well,
Yeah, that'd be low.
Sounded real low.
I know people will be signing up tomorrow.
That takes 25 years, that's what we say, it all without interest.
Yeah.
So it's possible, that what I'm getting at, it's possible to do that
Yeah.
internationally.
Right, well, particularly in an area like I'm in, up in Encina, where that's on the border, where it's on the other side of our street is higher density. I mean,
Right.
we're right down the middle of our street is unincorporated area on the other side.
Right. Not the backyard.
No,
And the comments I've seen in the papers are that other communities are saying this is just a way to break down your zoning law.
Yeah.
See what somebody else is doing?
Yeah,
Right,
you know what I
that's
mean?
my question.
I feel like there's no hurry. We were doing it because we have to.
So frankly, I'm not happy with this.
The other thing that I was really concerned about is that is the way this is worded is wide open. I looked at other ordinances that other towns have, and they have numbers on them, like that they're, that they can have 20% over normal density in exchange for so many units of affordable
right.
housing. And we don't have any,
Right, max, yeah.
we don't have any guidelines in there. And, it just seems like, it's when I read this, it looked like we're trying to check off a box. And it probably,
We are.
I understand that, and it probably, the approval, the people that we're trying to get to check the boxes are gonna say, well, these guys don't really, are trying to get us to check the box, and we're not gonna achieve that goal, and we're gonna have this thing on our books. And I think that we ought to, we can make it, the ordinance what we want it to be.
Yes.
We could tighten it up and put restrictions on our density bonus.
Yeah, I agree.
Could we ask staff to come back at our next meeting with a revised
ordinance that would have more limits on the bonus, like you talked about?
Well, I think that would be a good idea.
Well,
Yes, we can do that.
Besides Hillsborough, there must be other communities that are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and most of the communities that have the density bonus ordinance are applying it to multifamily, so the 20% makes sense. Here, we're probably gonna have to look at a different standard, you know, no more than X number of units per acre or
Right.
something.
There you go.
But we can keep researching those other larger, single-family residential communities, see if there's anything else. And I do wanna make sure that we take it back and we're thoughtful about it, because I don't wanna just propose something tonight that's in violation of the
Right.
state law.
Right.
Right.
So I want a little time to research that.
So,
Take your proposal back.
but,
Take it back, I take it back.
by consensus, we'll ask you to
Thank you.
But I think, it's-
restudy this
I
issue.
think it's important that our intent is to offer a method for people to have affordable housing, provided that it fits the nature of the community you want to have. So it's not the intent to not be in a position to game it out of doing that. It's definitely an intent, is if you want to provide a way for group for affordable housing, this is the way you do it in Atherton.
Yeah, my concern is just that it's tight enough that, it doesn't, it's not open to abuse down the road.
Right, and that's where I was reading my scenarios, that it's an abuse model rather than an intent of the purpose model.
Exactly.
Right.
And it doesn't leave us open to lawsuit either by somebody trying to abuse it. It would find kind of a loophole or something, so.
Right.
Okay.
I did notice this in the paper as a public hearing, so I'd appreciate if you would continue the public hearing
Okay, maybe we have a motion, please?
Motion to continue.
It's October 20th.
to the next planning commission meeting,
You wanna hold it
regular
for
scheduled
October?
meeting.
In December.
Yes, December 3rd,
You're making the motion?
I am making the motion. to
May we have a
continue
second?
December
4th.
Second.
3rd. Fourth.
Thank you.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The resolution passes. Okay, number 10 is next on the agenda. This is an ordinance amending the Atherton Municipal Code, Chapter 1760, on accessory buildings and guest house definition, which we discussed last.
Correct, so this is just the wording we discussed at the last meeting formalized into an ordinance. And if you wanted to proceed, you would just move you would recommend that the city council adopt the ordinance. And it adds the two definitions that you discussed at your last meeting.
Okay. Do we have any discussion? Public hearing? One member? No? Okay. We'll close the public hearing quickly and move on to commissioners' comments
Do it.
on-
Yeah.
or possible motion.
Okay, I'll move the planning commission recommend that the city council adopt the ordinance amending Atherton Municipal Code Section 17.60, definition of accessory building and guest house for the reasons incorporated in the staff report.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those yes. The motion passes.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. We'll meet again on December 4th at 6 o'clock.
I move the three